whoever walking in and telling you how to sleep with your wife, that just doesn't seem appropriate to me. I mean, can you dig that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know why it's any less appropriate than telling you can't eat these certain foods and that you can't wear linen and wool.
Well, because it's more emasculating. It's more not emasculating. It's just, I don't know.
Like many guys like the separate sex davening thing
Yeah.
because it gives them an excuse to get out of the house.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they don't want to be stuck in the house with the screaming kids and the kvetchy wife. And at least they can get away morning and evening.
Yeah.
And so,
but then they should be able. But then shouldn't they be able to claim that for themselves and say, "I need this time separate from you"? Although, I could. I mean.
But if you want to just kick back and watch SportsCenter, the wife's going to say, "Come help me with the kids."
Yeah, but then you say no. I mean, if you need SportsCenter during that time, then you have to be able to say no.
It's easy to say God demands that I go pray now.
Right.
I want to watch SportsCenter.
Right. It is easier, but I think the rewards are greater if you just say no. This is my SportsCenter.
I just let some fresh air in, literally and spiritually, into this.
Yes.
Actually,
it feels wonderful.
So the ark lands, and they come out, and God sends a rainbow, and He promises. I heard it said that God repented of destroying the world, so I'm trying to find that.
Oh well,
but that's kind of interesting that God would repent.
Repent. Yeah, I hadn't heard that line, though. We certainly know that God promised.
Where is the rainbow thing?
No, open the window.
So it's 9.
Yeah, actually,
8.
I don't see.
Okay, 9:12. God says, "This is a sign of the covenant that I give you. Every living being that is with you to generations forever, I've set my rainbow in the cloud. Shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. And I will look upon it, and I won't wipe you out again."
Right.
So anyway, I was reading commentary by Rabbi Ari Khan, who said that the rainbow symbolizes the complexity of life. While the beginning of this Torah portion, God looks at the world and says, "Oh, it's all evil." The rainbow shows that everyone has, varying degrees, or every community has varying degrees of good and bad, and you have to be careful and sort things out. You can't just everyone's evil.
Right. Well, actually, that's interesting. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking earlier. Is that I think there's part of each of us that when we're frustrated, we would like to think, it's just clear them all out. I'm the one who's doing my best and doing it right, and if I could just get rid of all those SOBs out there, everyone else, things would be okay. And in some ways, this is like the end of that fantasy. It happened this time. That's when it did happen, where there was only one good guy on Earth and everyone else, and his people, and everyone else sucked. And now it's no, the rainbow's yeah, exactly that. That it's not. It'll never happen again. We're stuck with the world we've got, and just resenting everyone else for not being as perfect and good as yourself isn't going to work anymore. So figure it out. I kind of like that. That's Rabbi Ari Khan who said that.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah,
he's got a whole lecture on it that I read last night, so I'll link it.
Yeah, that would be great.
So chapter 9, verse 6. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. So if you believe that God gave the Bible or God gave the Torah, and you're saying, well, only God can take life, well, here God says, if someone commits murder, then by man, not by me, God, but by man shall his blood be shed. So the Torah is pretty hardcore for capital punishment.
Huh.
It doesn't say whoever sheds the blood of man, well, leave it up to me to take care of him in the next life.
Right. Right. I'll sort him out when he gets back here. Yeah, it's, and I even my understanding is that if you break. There's certain an earthly law and a divine law, and there's no punishment
for breaking the
divine law or something like that.
Like between man and God, if you don't do it, God will punish you in the next world. But,
right.
We're not supposed to put people to death because they're not davening shacharit.
So this is the foundation for judges and courts, really.
Yeah,
right?
Man.
It's saying, okay, whoever does harm to his fellow man, he's gonna. Right. This is the foundation of the law.
And this is also the foundation of the 7 Noahide laws, the 7 laws that Judaism demands of all humanity. Don't commit murder, don't kidnap, you must set up courts of law, you must not deny God's existence publicly, you must not worship idols, you must not eat the limb of a living animal, and no sexual perversion such as homosexual stuff and adultery and incest.
Homosexuality, adultery, and incest. Huh. Well, this is the foundation of any law that becomes punishable by man. I mean, which is, any law for all intents and purposes is based on the concept of if you do harm, man will shed your blood. I mean, that's why they say the definition of a state is somebody who has a monopoly on violence in a particular area. So it's the right to kill for trespasses.
Now I'm looking at chapter 20. Noah, the man of earth, debased himself and planted a vineyard, drank of the wine, became drunk, and uncovered himself within his tent. And I'm thinking about a friend of mine who is incredibly disciplined, hardworking, responsible, very good at reading other people, just a great person. That horrible thing after horrible thing happens to her when she starts drinking. It's like this great person, and she starts drinking, and just horrible things happen. She almost choked to death when, a shot went down the wrong way, and just all these horrible things. And I mean, I dated an alcoholic, Holly Randall, the photographer. She's open about it. So this was 3 years ago, and God, what a nightmare that was.
When she would drink?
No, it was just everything that went. When she drank, she became really friendly. It was not a nightmare. It was lovely. And if she hadn't been a drunk at that time, she would never have dated me. So, I must...
Right. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well...
But so many horrible things happen. Has anything horrible happened to you from getting drunk?
I don't think so. I was never a huge drinker. I remember saying to my sister when I was 15 that I thought that the only reason people drank was so that they had an excuse to do things they wanted to do anyway.
Exactly.
And I think there's a lot of truth in that. I think generally I'm aware that if in the past that if I'm drinking because I want to do something, it's already something I've chosen to do in advance. Right. So I've had other drugs. I've had bad things happen on. When I was younger, I had an experimental phase, but not alcohol so much.
You never got sodomized by a man because you were drunk?
No. I would have avoided drinking alcohol in a situation in which that was a possibility.
I think that'd be a real downer. If you like.
That would be a downer. Though the prostate is like the male G-spot, for those of you who don't know.
Right. It can be very pleasurable, I hear.
Yeah, well, I have heard so too, and in fact in Vegas...
And you shouldn't feel embarrassed if you get an erection when you're getting raped.
Right, exactly. Well, but men have a hard time with that. It's true, Luke.
And if you send me your address, I'll get you a free rape kit.
But I don't know, because we were talking about alcohol and getting drunk. Yeah, but I think that people do, like your friend. My question is, okay, so she's very disciplined, but then she is kind of self-medicating. She's meeting some need that she can't otherwise meet, right?
It's crazy.
Right.
I think she's the most wonderful person in the world, and then every weekend she gets drunk.
So what's the answer to that? Should she build some of that madness into her day-to-day life? I mean, why can't a disciplined person say, I need some craziness, I need some casual sex, I need some whatever it is?
Well, I think there's a fundamental flaw in her character, and I think she's got to cut out the drinking completely and start working on whatever
on that, right?
12-stepping.
Right. 12-stepping, you said.
Sure. That's good.
Good. I agree.
Good.
Yeah.
I think they're nonsense personally, but I think they're good for people who need them.
Right. Well, but then they're not nonsense. Then there's something to them. But yeah.
I don't believe you're a sick. I don't believe that it's illness.
Right.
If you're a drunk, I think you lack moral discipline. So I don't believe that you're
right.
just sick.
Okay. Yeah. Right. It's a useful framework, though. For
but if
yeah.
it's